Hey guys, this is Val. In today's video, episode 7 of our Master the Art of DAZ photo blends, we're going to be talking about using real HDR maps to light your images when you're blending your DAZ vehicles or characters with photos. Now, what you see here is a background, it's actually streets of Miami, and you can grab this for free from my store. So if you head to dream3store.com, you can just scroll down and it's right here, just released. Really cool set, completely for free. It has 5 photos in 7K. And these are AI generated, and I took my time to fix minor issues here and there in Photoshop. So they are kind of clean, but again, these are AI generated, right? So there might be some issues here and there. Just a fair warning. Now, speaking of which, if you go to all collections in my store and scroll down to free stuff, there is a lot of free stuff in here, right? I think I've got like 12 items now, all free, so you can just go ahead and grab them all. So back to DAZ Studio, we have this background, we have a car, and I'm going to just quickly move the camera and position our car somewhere around, let's say here. I'm gonna rotate the car 180 degrees so it's pointing towards the camera, and then we just want to have we can kind of show the ground a little bit, right? And just do it really quick. You can when you're matching, you can match the lines in DAZ here, and if you don't see them, it's up here, right? Show floor. Those can be great to match at times. At times they are not really matching as you want them to, but it's there, right? You can play with that. Again, the most important thing when matching, cameras and all that is not that you are using the perfect, wireframe overlay or something like that. It's so you just use the eyes and really get a feel. Does it feel correct? Does it feel right? All right, let's go. So we got the car roughly where we want it. And the thing is, now we are, facing an issue with lighting a little bit. It's kind of, well, let's say almost 45 degrees shadows, right? So I'd say we can use maybe 1600 or 1700. And then we rotate that slightly so the shadows go to the left. We want to follow what's going on here, right? And the sun is coming from the right, so we want to match that roughly. Somewhere around here looks pretty okay to me, right? Yeah. Now the issue is that when we are blending, outdoors, it may work fine if you're just using people or something like that, but if you have reflective items, like now we have the car, it's highly reflective. What happens is that we suddenly kind of lose connection with the background, right? The car feels empty in its reflections. And that is because what we have here, we are using the built-in Iray environment lighting mode, right? So it kind of is empty. It's just the sky and sunshine. And so in this case, I would suggest to use a real HDR to light this image. And the way it works is that, here in my store, you actually have free HDRs you can use, right? You can just go ahead and download them. But there's also a website I highly recommend. It's called polyhaven.com. Really great, website with a lot of cool stuff. You get free HDRs, textures, and also a bunch of free models. But here, what you can do, click on HDR and say that we want to go outdoors and find something urban, right? And maybe, I don't know, this one here looks pretty okay, right? We want to, kind of capture the buildings, the skyscrapers, so to speak, or the high-rise buildings. There's no skyscrapers per se in that particular image, right? But this one is pretty close. And you can also try maybe some kind of a palm tree beach setting, see if the palm tree is gonna react to the car, right? And you don't need a whole, super resolution. 8K is fine. This website has everything from 1K to 16K, and sometimes even more than that. Pretty wild. And these are really high quality. Not all of them are the extreme quality, but most of them are really high quality and feature real lighting data. These are not fake HDRs, these are real HDRs. So you just click on download, and then in here we go to the environment subtab of render settings, right? If you don't see render settings, by the way, you can also go to here, render settings, or here, window panes, render settings here as well, right? The thing is, you can just click here on the environment map and click browse. And here we're just going to choose that we added here, right? Pretty cool. Now, upon loading this, two things happen. One, we lose track of lighting, right? It no longer is the same type of lighting. There is a bunch of reflections on the car now, and the sunshine looks different. And, using HDR maps is great. I highly recommend it. But there is always a drawback in using every technique, right? I mean, there is no perfect solution to everything. Each method has its own pros and cons. And the benefit of using HDRs is that you get a real representation of the set here, this image here, right? And also that you get reflections on the car. That is golden, right? The drawback is that you often can't control the if you rotate the map, you rotate the reflections and the sun at the same time. So there is a limitation there. You cannot lower the sunshine. It's kind of baked into the image. So there is that. Plus, an HDR map is often a high resolution image. In this case, it's just 8K, but when using 16K, it's a little bit more strain on your system, depending on what kind of PC you have or Mac you have, right? So there is that, and frankly, HDR maps will give you a really good looking, light representation. They are awesome, just superior. But as any tool, they have drawbacks, right? There is no single method that just is perfect in any way and sense. So that looks pretty awesome, right? We have lighting, we have some kind of reflections on the car, it doesn't look empty. And the drawback now is that the ground looks very dark, right? The ground looks very dark. I meant the ground shadow. And so what you can do here is go all the way down in the environment tab, subtab of render settings, and go for ground shadow intensity. You can lower that to maybe 0.5. That was a bit too much, right? Let's do 0.9. See if that better matches what's going on. Be careful with that though, because as you do that, see underneath the car, there is now lacking occlusion. Occlusion is when there is so much darkness that it's pretty much pitch dark, right? And that kind of lacks right now, which is again a small drawback of adjusting the shadow, right? As you lower the intensity of the shadow, you lose the occlusion that should naturally be underneath the car. So that is something you have to live with. I'd say go with 1 here, and if you wanna make the shadow maybe a little bit less intense, you can render this image twice. I'm not going to show that right now. We can save that for a different video where we do some extra techniques and tricks, because you can always render things twice, with and without, and then blend between those two in Photoshop freely. Having that said though, the largest shadows from the trees you're seeing on the road, they come from distant objects, right? They are far away from the camera, which means that they, besides being a shadow, also receive additional lighting from the sky, right? This car shadow doesn't receive so much light because it's partially hidden by the car, right? So it can probably be a little bit darker. Again, this is all about understanding how light works in real life. And if you look at the shadows here, it is pretty pitch dark, right? So not all shadows are equal. A large shadow from a building that is long on the road will receive lighting on top of the shadow, right? So the shadow there will look a little bit different than a small shadow that's being hidden by the car, right? So you got to always have that eye for what is looking real, how would this behave in the real world, and so forth. Cool, guys. So that was pretty much it. I wanted this to be a quick video about HDR maps, which I think are awesome. I think this is by far one of the best ways to use lighting in DAZ and any software. And again, it comes with its own set of limitations like anything else. So guys, don't forget to check my store for free items, for other cool items, including the new DAZ to AI video training, which just launched yesterday. Great, so that's all for this video. I'm gonna be back with more episodes as promised. We have at least 2, 3, 4 more covering awesome stuff like layers, fixing special tricks and details and all that. There is so much more to cover. So I can't wait to get them recorded and sent over to you guys. So that's all. Have fun, guys, and I'll see you soon again.